And that's supposedly a fact. I mean, no one's been able to prove that, but other than mathematically. So when you prove something in quantum physics mathematically, in order to, it's accepted unless it can be disproved mathematically. And that's what I tell people. It was just a theory. It's quantum theory. Well, it's not just a theory. When it's established mathematically in quantum physics, it's accepted unless you can disprove it mathematically. And that's pretty neat. So anyway, it's how the universe
and in science,
works.
they use the theory of it.
Well,
go ahead.
I was just saying, Samantha, I just wanted to thank you for calling.
Oh, you're welcome. And I look forward to hearing those calls. I haven't heard all of them. So.
Well, my Skype
Thank
is
you.
not. I'm hoping I don't lose Ron here after you hang up. I got to get this thing fixed. But anyway, Samantha, say hi to Kevin for me.
I can just mute it if you want.
No, you
all
can,
right.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead and hang up, and it should disconnect.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So anyway, you still there, Ron?
Yeah. How much time do we have?
Oh, we got a half an hour.
Half an hour. Okay.
Now, did you want to do any of the sounds or anything?
Well, I think we should before someone falls asleep. It might be me.
Yeah, or me. Which one do you want me to click on?
Did I mention that to you at the beginning?
Yeah, we got them in order. So
okay. Well, that's the order.
Okay, let's do the first one right now.
What's it called?
Rapid fire.
Okay, that's two of them, I believe. We think it's two of them talking to each other. And at the time, we didn't know that it wasn't addressed to us, so that can make you wonder.
Okay, let's play it right now. Wow, that is different. I've never heard anything like that before. Where was that taken at?
I was in the Sierra Camp where we were, Sierra Nevada mountains of California.
Yeah.
At our camp, which is quite a ways back in there. And that was Warren Johnson. You heard a human voice in there. He was calling out to it because it sounds aggressive. There was some language in there, and we now think that they were either fighting or arguing over the food that was left out, or it's been suggested by someone who listened to these and didn't know anything about them. They said that there was two of them and that there was a young one involved, and they were fighting over this young one getting too bold around us humans. So I don't know we don't know. We weren't watching them make the sound. In fact, the only time I ever seen them make a sound was 3 years later, and that's when I saw one that night, because all these sounds that you'll hear right now were taken while we were inside the shelter. We had the mite remoted back up behind the shelter, and that's why they come in so well. And this is on my first CD that Al Berry wrote the story to, and I produced it.
And where's that available again? Amazon? Where do they go look for it at?
My website, ronmorehead.com or bigfoot-sounds.com. Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you want to do the second one here, English?
Sure.
Okay.
English, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to lead us into that one first?
Well, let's listen to it. I've forgotten now.
Okay. Okay, here it goes. Now, to me, it sounds like he was upset or trying to warn you, basically, to get out of there. By the tone of whatever it was doing, it didn't sound like it was, trying to be friendly sounding.
Well, he might have been constipated. That's what I think.
Oh, that too, yeah. Or ate my wife's cooking. One of the two.
I don't know. That's on the first CD. That's Alberry recorded that. It's a lot more. It's clearer on the CD actually. He got some really clear sounds that night. He had his mic remoted up behind a shelter just at the right spot where these things were close by. And so the static that I heard just now isn't on the original. So
yeah, it could be from being downloaded or whatever. Again, Now the whistle or whatever
yeah, there's a whistle they do, which we have shown again through the studies that the whistle is done through the vocal cavity and not through the lips. We whistle through our lips mainly, and this is a whistle too. It's really a pretty whistle, so go ahead and play that one.
Okay, let's get that one going here. Now that does give me the impression that they could probably imitate a lot of bird calls.
Oh, I'm sure they can imitate just about anything they want to. According to the Curlin report, like I say, the vocal range supersedes what a human can do. They can go higher. They can pronounce the human language if they wanted to, and they can go lower. So whether or not they get in the infrasound or ultrasound, we don't know for sure because we weren't recording it with that methodology back then, just cassette recorders. But it's been suggested that maybe they can also communicate in infrasound, which can freeze a person. Now, I've been frozen up there before, not cold frozen, but Warren and I, one of the Johnson brothers, we walked up to where one had to be behind this tree, and we thought, sure, we was going to see it run away because it's another one of those moonlit nights. And we started walking up there, and both of us just got paralyzed. And he looked at me, I looked at him. We weren't talking to each other, and there wasn't fear because by then we'd kind of accepted that they weren't going to hurt us. We didn't think. So we was getting kind of bold around these things, trying to find out more about them. And we both got stopped in our tracks about 15 feet from this tree, and he looked over at me, and we were about 15 feet apart, really. And he said, I don't know about you, but I can't go any further. And I said, I can't either. And we could go backwards, but we couldn't go forward. And I mentioned this to a scientist one time years later or years ago, and he said, well, I don't want to hear about your fear. And I said, I really don't think it was fear. We weren't afraid at that time. There was something else. And he suggested infrasound, which can paralyze. And large animals use that. Elephants use that to communicate over large distances. And a lot of prey will use that to paralyze their, a lot of animals use that to paralyze their prey.
Uh-huh.
And it can do those things to humans. I think even Hitler was working with that in World War II to try to antagonize his people. That you can play infrasound and you won't hear it, but you'll feel it. And so the scientist said it's either probably infrasound or pheromones. At that time, I thought, well, I found pheromones only work within the same species, so it probably wasn't pheromones. So I went with infrasound, thinking that's what it was. This happened to me another time up there too, and I had to know what that answer was. Well, Now I find out they may be part human. If they're part human, then pheromones might be the answer. So I don't know what was paralyzing us, but it would happen. It happened occasionally.
Now, or it could be, like some people saying that Bigfoot could be tied in with UFOs or something. So maybe they didn't want you to go any farther, and you couldn't go any farther. As simple as that.
That's what happens. So it might just be that simple. But if they can play with your mind, and some people think they can through entanglement, they could have just stopped you like that, stopped us both like that with just a mind probe of some type. I don't know.
Yeah,
so many things we don't know, and that's why we research and research and we research and we research some more. And I don't discount anything about these things anymore because there's so much has gone on with me and with people I've talked to that are very credible people, all the way from the sheriff's department to forestry workers that are professionals, and they won't let their names out, but they tell me about this stuff, and how'd this thing disappear? It just turned into a wave type form, and all of a sudden you don't see it anymore. Well, how does that happen? Well, there is a science behind everything. It's just trying to understand it. I know your show's in the paranormal, but I don't like to use the word paranormal. I think it's just things we need to understand about the laws of physics and learn how to understand what's going on and how these things maybe be doing what they're doing. So anyway,
no, they could be, like I had one person claim that maybe they're going in from one dimension to another dimension and they can shift back and forth. So that could be the possibility too, But again,
well, that's very common thought in this world we live in, is that they are able to go in and out from the fourth dimension back in the third, where we are. And if they can do that, they have to be doing it through frequency. And that's what I talk about in my Quantum Bigfoot, is vibrational frequency can change anything. Everything is a frequency. And you catch the right vibration, it can change. If we raise our vibration, we can heal ourselves. We can be something else. If you raise a vibration high enough, it'll actually turn into light instead of sound. And after light, then it gets into energy only. And that's how I think cosmos operates, and how UFOs and aliens and all that move around is through energy source. But they're able to transfer into our dimension when they want to deal with us.
Yeah, that's what I think. Now, the next one, talk to us. Is there anything you want to say about that before I hit the button?
This was 3 years later when we were really into these things and they were into us. And this is when they started interacting with us while we were still outside the shelter. Me and one other guy was up there, my good friend, and we'd packed in some supplies, so the horses and mules, and these things started rocking their rocks and clacking and whooping and making these noises. And the best thing you can do at that point is just be still and just don't jump up and start shining your flashlight. Just be still, and they will come closer when they don't think they have your attention. So that's what you're going to hear now. Is you'll hear me yell back at them, and then they respond to me.
Okay, let's give this a play.
What are you trying to talk to us?
Well, it sounds like you really got them going on that one there when you did your call.
Well, that was quite a night. We did quite a bit that night. It's on my second CD. I get into the context of what was going on and all that was going on, and then you can hear the sound because it comes with a CD.
Now, have you ever had anybody try to debunk it and saying it's other animals making that noise, and that's what you're picking up?
That's why we got the science behind it, because it wasn't. I mean, that's what Al Berry knew, the investigative reporter. He knew he had to get some science behind it, so that's why the University of Wyoming took it on, Dr. Curtin, which wasn't easy to get a professor with his caliber to take this on. But he did, along with a graduate student, and they studied it for a year, and they came out with this report, which is in a book called Man-Like Monsters on Trial, and that was presented after a symposium in British Columbia, and it was put together by the University of British Columbia in 1980, and his full report is in that about our sounds. And really, a lot of people say, oh, that's tape recorder being played backwards and speeded up and stuff like that, but that's all been shown by the original tapes to not be true.